97underground.com.
Hey folks, Michael Spedden here, host of The Back of the Rack on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide, and welcome to the 97 Underground Michael Spedden interview page, where we feature interviews with all the best local and national acts. Remember folks, The Back of the Rack on 97underground.com can be heard every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Download the free app and listen anytime, anywhere. And enjoy our interviews, folks. Remember, shop small and support local homegrown original music. Now, on with the interview. Hey folks, Michael Spedden here, and welcome back to another episode of The Back of the Rack. And you're watching me here on the Michael Spedden interview channel on YouTube, youtube.com/@97underground Michael Spedden. Well, today we are here with Paul Klein of Rebels Opera. They're out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we played a few of their songs, had a nice talk with Paul about the LA club scene where he came from, and then, the Nashville scene where he is now, how things are going down there for bands. And we really had a great time talking, and I think you're going to like their songs. So make sure you definitely check it out. Stick around for the interview and enjoy. And remember, I am on every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Replay is every Wednesday from 2 to 4 a.m. Download the free app, listen anytime, anywhere. And remember the YouTube page here. You're looking at it now, but just to remind you, youtube.com/@97underground Michael Spedden. Enjoy our interview with Paul Klein of Rebels Opera. And welcome back to The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show here on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide. Today we are here with Paul Klein of Rebels Opera out of Nashville, Tennessee. And I've heard some of their recent releases. They've sent me a couple copies of their recent songs, and it's great stuff. You'll be hearing it on my show for sure. And Paul, welcome to the show. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, good to talk to you, man. Thanks for having me. And I wish Tate and Clint were supposed to be here, but with this snowstorm, I don't know when this is going to air, but a big old ice storm that came through prevented them from coming to the studio. But we're happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Oh, sure. Well, we got nailed up in Maryland too. It was just, and the thing is, we don't normally get that much, but sometimes we get some doozies, and it's been a while since we've had one here. But yeah. Well, the main thing is I'm glad everybody's safe and sound, and then and the thing is, there can always be another time for the full band to come on. So just remember that,
For sure, we appreciate the opportunity.
Yep. So this material you sent me, and I've been listening to it and everything. If nobody had, say, if you were going up to somebody for the first time, they'd never heard of Rebels Opera, how would you describe and this is a question most musicians hate, but how would you describe what, your material style, or, things that inspired you to do what you do?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Fun, classic rock, classic ingredients. That late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Def Leppard, High and Dry, AC/DC, Highway to Hell, Kicks, early Cinderella, just kind of that era right there. And fun, there's enough problems in the world, and so we don't sing. There's other people who can sing about politics and the state of affairs and whatever side you are on, but we just want to have fun and make people feel good and put a smile on your face. And so, yeah, Highway to Hell, High and Dry, Def Leppard, Pyromania, that's kind of our vibe.
Awesome. And I agree with you 100% on that. I can remember my own bands years ago, especially the acoustic act I had. Me and my partner were a couple of cut-ups. And we're up there laughing and cracking jokes and everything, but everybody else that was playing like at the open mics and things like that were up there like talking about like protesting and it's like, come on, can we have fun at one point, or another? Can we enjoy ourselves? And I think that's really, and again, it's a strange world nowadays. We need that release. I think, no matter what side you're on, there's just so much strangeness. I'm almost waiting to look around the corner and see Rob Sterling standing there with a cigarette, and see, I told you so,
Yeah. I think you said it best, a release, just feel good, want to put your fist in the air, have a good time. And, there's other times and places for making those changes and problems and issues and stuff. And but for us, we just want to put a smile on your face and have a good time and forget about all those issues. Kind of like what we did when when we put on those albums. But we also have a couple. Well, younger guy. I'm the oldest guy in the group, so but we also have a modern sound to it, and so it's kind of the best of both worlds. But we definitely know our lane, and we like to stay in it.
Certainly, certainly. Um, and it's a good thing too that you know, I really don't think, I mean, there may have been some waning in popularity and things like that, but the rock and roll, and I'm guessing, referencing the era of music you're referring to, those were my formative years as well. And that just stayed for some reason. It may have been always not in the forefront, sometimes in the background, but that stayed. And I tell you, people that I grew up with, their kids love it too. I mean, are you
Yeah.
observing the same thing?
Yeah, there's a big younger crowd that's digging that kind of stuff. I mean, you
Hmm.
see that with a lot of the bands that are doing kind of the Zeppelin, the Dirty Honeys, and the Greta Van Fleets, which is really cool. It's that
Hmm.
classic era too. But there's also that early Def Leppard,
Hmm.
AC/DC, that where that power rock, power pop rock, if you will, just was really popular and everything. And I see a lot of, our kids and the younger crowds dig it too. So it's just good music, classic ingredients, that just make you feel good.
It really does, and it's fun to see. I mean, and it's something that I'm noticing too when you go to concerts, like whether you go to Merriweather, like a big pavilion, or even like a club where it's all ages. They're bring. It's like the entire family sitting there. The parents, the son or the daughter and her boyfriend, they're all there, and they're really into it. Really
Yeah.
into it. It just seems like it's almost timeless. Almost timeless. So, now, are you all originally from? You're based in the Nashville area. Is that home for you, or did you migrate there from another part?
I'm a transplant, so yeah, and Grady's a transplant, our drummer. But our two brothers, Clint and Tate, who are the core of the band,
Hmm.
they're born and raised in Tennessee. They grew up on all the classic rock and just great guitar players. Tate, our singer, if he doesn't try to be Bon Scott, he's got his
Yeah.
own voice, but he's got
Hmm.
balls and grit, but he's also got that melody and stuff. So he's
Sure.
just a great swinger. He's in his 20s still, but he's just great. But they were born here in Tennessee, and I was a transplant from California, so I played on the opposite side of you on the West Coast.
Right.
The Whiskeys and the Stones and Omnis and the Bay Area. Around the
Hmm.
time of Vane and some of those bands, Jet Boy.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of bring that old school kind of um, mix to it. And then Grady is a transplant from up your way, up either I think he's from either New York or Jersey,
Oh right, 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 right.
Long Island or Jersey side. I can't remember, but definitely
Hmm.
he's an East Coast guy. But him and I moved here about 5-6 years ago, and
Hmm.
then Clint and Tate are here. And the rock scene, Nashville's always known for. Country, but
Yeah.
there's a big rock scene here. I mean, Ryan and Jeremy, who played in Ace Frehley's band, they're in Rock City Machine. Sienna Studios, where we record Marty Fredrickson's studio. He's recorded Buck Cherry and
Hmm.
Aerosmith and everybody. So there's a big rock scene here, and those of us that are doing the original music and
Hmm.
original stuff, not covers, like on Broadway. Nashville's known for Broadway, which is a great spot, but there's a lot of clubs and a lot of original music and great rock music here.
Right, right. And the thing is that I really think it's great that in entertainment, it was always either L.A. or New York.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, but now, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta, Austin, Nashville, Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of great scenes that have been popping up all over the country. And I've spoken to a lot of people that were transplants from this area here that have moved out there. And it's really great. I mean, what's your experience been? I mean, when you first got to Nashville, I mean, did you scout out Nashville or play there or anything before you moved, or did you just blindly just go for it?
No, it was hadn't originally come here to play. Just kind of rediscovered, rekindled the fire of music being in the city. I noticed when I first moved here, my creativity I just pick up the guitar on that couch back there and just started writing again, which I hadn't done in a long time. So it really did spark that. And I think there's something, they call it the antenna from the Grand Ole Opry or something, but there's something in the air here in the vibe and everything. But you're right, it's growing. We our first show was up at Rockfest. We opened up for Return to Dust, which is Slash's son's great kind of grunge band, and we played on a huge stage in front of about 1,000 people up there, and outside of Nashville's a little fickle, because it's got so many different musical tastes and so forth. But the rock scene out in Austin and in Dallas and in Florida, down in the Destin area, and even down in the Panhandle is just just off the charts. So just getting out there and playing, and the audiences are there still, definitely.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, speaking of great music and great audiences and everything, let's hear one of your songs here. The first song, I guess. How about "Down with the City"? What can you tell us about that song?
That was the first song we wrote. So our producer, Tuck Smith, who is a great artist in his own right, we call him Mr. Hook. I mean, the guy's Tom Petty, Cheap Trick, all mixed into one, and just a great guy. So him and I first sat down to kind of build this band, and before Tate and Clint were involved, but that was a riff I had around since like 1986, and just it needed some balls and some grit, and Tuck kind of helped write the lyrics, and then of course Clint and Tate put their sprinkles on it, their leads and their guitar and their vocals, and then I had the title, which was "Down with the City," which is back in our day. It was always about moving to LA or moving to New York to try to make it. So it's not like tearing down a city. It means you're like down with it. Like, this is my home. I mean, I might be busting my butt on Sunset Boulevard or wherever I'm at, whatever big city I'm at, but it's my home, and I'm going for it and just going through the grind to try to make it.
Sounds great. Well, here it is, folks. Here's Rebels Opera with "Down with the City."
Gasoline, the streets are loud, the walls shake.
Well, what a great song. Like I said, when I was listening to it, I really enjoyed it. And I'm sure our listeners are too. So, you know, I've been hearing so many great things, about, Nashville and that area too. And, you did play out in LA and everything too. I mean, how is it really, is it like apples and oranges, or is it pretty similar, would you say?
Well, it's a 3 decades difference,
Oh,
so
yeah,
it,
that's
yeah.
true. That too.
It's a different time and everything, but there's a lot of similarities in just in, you know, just the vibe, it's kind of like, there was a few places that you had to play or you wanted to play at back then, and similar here in
Hmm.
Nashville. But the scene's definitely smaller. I mean, I was in walking down Sunset Strip, seeing Bullet Boys and XYZ passing out flyers right before they made it, and
Right.
there were thousands of people on the strip every night. The
Hmm.
strip here is, people flying in for bachelorette parties.
Oh,
They're
right,
not
right,
here they're not here because they want to be the next, Faster Pussycat or Motley Crue. So
right.
it definitely, it's the rock scene's smaller, but you've got bands like you've had on before, like Blackwood
Hmm.
and Wicked. Those are great up and coming bands from the modern day, and so there's a lot of that. Plus, you get the classic bands coming through. LA Guns, and I think Mike Tramp's coming in maybe this
Hmm.
April is a rumor. Cinderella's getting ready to play with Buck Cherry at the Ryman.
Oh,
Wasp has
yeah.
played. Yeah, so
Hmm.
you get a good mix of hard rock or heavy metal or classic rock for sure. It's not
Yeah.
just country.
Right, right, right. And that's the thing too, which, I was very encouraged. Not that I have anything against country. I'm more partial to the older stuff, but I mean, I was really glad to see that a place like Nashville, the Music City, USA, is now other types are doing well there too.
Yeah, I definitely think it's probably. I noticed one thing is a lot of kids like Logan who played in our first iteration up at Rockfest, and he moved here about 2 years ago. He plays on Broadway quite a bit, but he's also does original music. So he played guitar with us
Hmm.
for that show uh, up in at Rockfest because he had the connection up there and everything. But he's 21. To move here from Minneapolis. There's another cat that moved here from Florida, and they're all like into Slash and Guns N' Roses,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's definitely a hot spot for up and coming artists for sure,
Hmm. Well,
hard rock artists.
that's awesome. That's awesome that that this is kind of spread out a little bit and everything too, without it just being, two cities that were really kind of had the monopoly on, what was, kind of going on there. It's great to see. I think it's great to see the competition, and and it's giving people, I think maybe some hope. Somebody may live in the South and like, oh God, I got to go to New York to make this happen. Ah, Nashville, there we go. That's Atlanta. There we
Yeah,
go.
of course, of
Austin,
course, of course.
you know?
Nashville's become so expensive too. It's kind of,
Yeah.
some of the areas are as bad as California and New York as cost wise, but you can get out and
Hmm.
out in the outskirts like any big town, and find stuff. But big
Hmm.
thing is being around, all of the Doc McGee, BMI, all of the big studios and producers are here. I think Mick Mars cut his last album here. Dave Mustaine, he lives just about 7 miles from my house right here. So I
Hmm.
mean, Vince Neil, his mansion's out in Leapers Fork. So I mean, there's a lot of like iconic,
Hmm.
Aerosmith people, all from the rock scene here. So definitely is Music City. And I
Hmm.
think it is I'm a little biased. I think it's the capital. I think it's taken over myself, but that's just
Uh,
me.
well, I mean, and that's amazing too. All these other people have kind of come there, that instead of just being in the one area or the other area, they're, it's great. Well, I mean that, and you're kind of, part of history down there, being
Yeah.
there now,
Yeah, and Vince moved here I think about 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and I think actually Mick lives here too, Mars. So you
Hmm.
got two guys from Motley Crue that live here, so it's a great place for music.
Right, right. Well, I interviewed, Brian Forsyth from Kicks. He's down there too. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
Goodlettsville is where he told me he lived. Is that
That's
Goodlettsville
on
or
the yeah, that's on the north side of Nashville. I'm on the south side, but so we're Nashville's right in between us. But Brian, he hasn't agreed, or I don't even know if Tuck's talked to him. I think Tuck's talked to him a little bit, but we're trying to get Brian to possibly do a cameo solo on one of our songs for the final 10 coming up. So we could have a guest appearance with Brian. We haven't
Hmm,
worked out all the details yet. He hasn't agreed to anything or anything like
yeah.
that, but we're working on a possibility of that. We'd love to have him. We saw him at the Cobra the other night playing with
Mhm.
a band called Stone Whiskey, doing some old Kicks tunes, and he still kicks ass, man.
Oh, he does. He does. He's just incredible. Again, sounding good. I had seen him, I mean, up right up until okay,
Yeah, it's cutting out.
back in now. Yeah, I had seen them, a number of years, like, between COVID and what they decided was going to be their last show and everything. And he was still sounding great. They had a different guitar player. Um, it, Ronnie wasn't there, so they had a different fella playing with him and everything. But yeah, Brian is just sounding great. Maybe sweeten the deal a little bit, give him a dozen duck eggs, and see if that'll work.
Yeah, he loves the low carb diet. That's for sure. If you follow him on social media.
That's a man who loves his duck eggs. But yeah, but he's great. He's great. Kix has always been a treat. I was kind of fortunate to grow up in this area here because they were kind of like the heroes.
Yeah,
Everybody's heroes that were into metal. We had other bands too, but Kicks were always like the big boys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. They're huge. They're one of the big three we
Hmm.
consider our influences: AC/DC, Def Leppard, and Kicks. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Would you say too? So you had mentioned the studio. Yeah, you talked to it a little bit about that. Tell us a little more. What's the studio that you recorded these in? Yeah, I think you had mentioned your producer's name, but you want to tell us about that?
yeah, yeah. Tuck Smith. If you haven't, Eddie Trunk plays him all the time. He's outstanding artist in his own right. He just got done touring with Danko Jones over in
Hmm.
Europe. Just a great guy, great songwriter, and so he's very much the fifth member of the band.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so he's yeah. So we're doing most of the post production and the vocals and the iterations of the song in his studio,
Hmm.
and then we recorded the first five at Sienna Studio. So that's Marty Fredrickson's studio.
Mm.
Again, Marty's getting ready to go out with John Corabi on his tour. He played in I think he played in might be in the Dead Daisies or involved in them as well, or at least I know he's recorded them at a studio too. But great
Mm.
studio, punchy room, just old school Marshalls, no AI, just
Yeah.
straight up Marshalls, drums, and row vocals. But what we're doing is we're tracking a lot of the basics in Tuck Studio, and then we're doing the drums and the amps in the real nice studio. And so we've tracked the first five, and then Anthony Fox, who I don't know if you know who he is, but he was in Beautiful Creatures. He was actually in Alice Cooper's Poison video back in the day. He was the drummer,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so he's a very well known. He's mixing Night Ranger right now, and worked with Ted Nugent, a lot of people. But anyway, he's doing all our mastering and mixing, and he's here in Nashville too now. He used to be in L.A., so he's been here for about 10 years. But yeah, we got the A team there, and so when you hear the album, it's very much
Mhm.
got that Mutt Lange, you know, heavy hardcore, or not hardcore, hard rock kind of produced sound, where you can really feel the kick drum in your back.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's do another one of your songs. This is called "Smile Now, Cry Later." What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, that song actually was totally written by Tuck. So that was one of Tuck's songs actually, and he had written it for another band. Let's just say from Australia. It starts with an A,
Hmm.
not AC/DC, but another from that vein, a little newer band.
Okay.
And their people, his people, I don't know, that it was high level beyond my pay grade, that
Hmm.
it didn't work out. So he had that song sitting around, and we're like, man, this would be perfect for Rebels Opera.
Hmm.
So we recorded it with Tate and Clint, and it's got that AC/DC pocket guitar with big vocals like kicks, and I think it's done really well. It's had over 100,000 downloads on Spotify alone. So it's been a
Hmm.
real real popular song. When we play it live, people really throw their fists in the air and get into it.
Wonderful. Well, here it is. This is Smile Now, Cry Later. Well, wow, just another great song, another great song. So Paul, tell us right now in the time that we have left, just about where you're going to be playing and where we can find you online and everything.
Yeah, we're on all the socials, Rebels Opera, at Rebels Opera, rebelsopera.com. And if you go to rebelsopera.com, you can sign up for our VIP list. And we do a lot of stuff on our email list. We give you our demos.
Yeah.
They're for free, we'll send them to you. And we usually announce things on there first, so you get things kind of inside before it's announced and so forth. So definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're going to be playing in Huntsville, Alabama on February 7th. I don't know when this goes out. And then up in Glasgow, Kentucky, and the end of February. And we got some shows. There's a chance we could be on the mountain in Gatlinburg. We've been in talks with them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And some other shows, that are developing. Been talking to some people down. Paul Liddell, who hosts Sunday Night Rocks on New Bands, New Music, which is a Roku streaming platform. We've been maybe talking about going down to Austin and doing a show down there. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely check out that all those things, and love to play with you, or if you enjoy the music, let us know. And we're just trying to keep hard rock alive, just like you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thanks to Paul Klein for stopping by with Rebels Opera. All of their socials and everything will be listed in the show notes for you all to find. So Paul, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And folks, get out and support Rebels Opera. We'll be back right after these words. You're listening to The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in and listening, and hope you enjoyed today's interview. Remember, The Back of the Rack is on every Monday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, and our replay is every Wednesday morning from 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern Time on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide. You can download our free app and listen anytime, anywhere. Also, don't forget our YouTube channel. Hit the like and subscribe button and allow for notifications so you'll be the first to know whenever new episodes air. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Log on and crank it up. The station your mother warned you about. 97underground.com.